Hey guys, and welcome back. My name is Naz.
And I'm Ronnie.
And we are
New Girls on the Block.
We are back and better, y'all.
Better.
We took a little bit of time off just because we had some things going on. And our days wasn't like matching too well. So we here now though.
I know how it be. We get busy.
Yeah,
we both working. We both trying to make things happen, make things shake.
Exactly.
So
sometimes it's like we can't get to it, but we got to it now.
Yeah, we here.
we here.
We heard the streets calling. Yeah. We back.
And so we got some topics this week. So this week we're gonna be getting into some marriage topics and a certain couple.
America's favorite couple. Specifically Black America's favorite couple.
Yes, and that is Miss Jada and Mr. Will Smith. So we have some topics that we're gonna touch on that. And just personal ideas of marriage and things like that. But what we're going to get into first is our week. So how was your week?
Girl, my week has been crazy to say the least. The last week or so, I'm not going to lie, life comes at you fast. But I've been handling it the best way I can.
Yes,
and we move.
Exactly.
We shake. I'm still here. I look good. So that's not all that matters. But you know, when the world is falling down around you, at least you can look good.
Period. And keep the right mindset.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you just shining today.
Thank
you look good.
Thank
y'all
you.
see it.
Y'all see the material.
Period. So yeah, I feel like as long as you pull through,
yes,
that's all that matters, y'all. Stay strong.
Yes, I have been working. I've been laying low, planning, plotting. Yeah. So I'm excited for this. I'm not even gonna say next chapter. I'm just excited to continue the ever lasting evolution of Ronnie. That job I told y'all about. I'm pretty sure I told y'all about.
Yeah, I think you did.
Part-time job. They finally called back for the final interview. So hopefully I'm be booked and even more busy. More money to invest in my passion.
Yeah.
In this little project. So it's a lot happening in the pipeline. Life been coming at me fast, but I'm trying to fight back because I ain't no punk.
Yes.
Period.
I love that.
Yes. How about you, friend?
My week it's been good, and it's been a little rocky for me too, not to, to say the least. It's been some ups and downs, but new things is coming. I got some new things going on with me. Other than that, I just been staying low, trying to figure out life in a way and figure out what my true, what's it called? True, not passion, but my life. Where's my life?
The path.
Yeah, my life path. So I've been just doing more research and trying to just figure out what I truly want to do in life, because I feel like no matter what age, if you guys don't feel like you're too old to be trying to still figure out your life, because these people who are in their 40s, 50s, 60s be old and don't got their life together and could still make the change. And some people who think they got their life together be the ones that don't got their life together the most. So,
and that is a good lesson.
Yeah.
A lesson I have learned, and I'll share with the peeps, the viewers, the supporters, is when you go around feeling like everything is put together and you got all the answers to everything, sometimes you're not leaving enough room to actually learn new stuff or to figure out stuff. Because if you already have it in your mind that you got everything figured out, whether it be a life issue or something big in your life plans, if you got everything figured out already, what else is there to learn, or how could you really grow if you already put in your mind that you're right or you got it? You got to give yourself room to grow and also room to not be comfortable.
Exactly. That's the thing. And I feel like I've been uncomfortable, so I'm trying to and I heard a thing saying that too. It's you got to learn to put yourself in uncomfortable positions to actually get to where you want to go or grow in life. So I've been realizing that more and kind of needing to get out of my comfort zone. I feel like I'm at a point
get out of your shell. My fellow Cancer, we stay in our shells.
Definitely.
Get real set in our ways.
Get out of it. So I'm doing more stuff that kind of would bring me more, I guess, connection and
joy.
Yeah, joy. So even though it'd be maybe scary at first, I gotta grow out of that.
Yes.
And get through it.
Yes.
So yeah, that's how my week has been. Today I had a day. I was in Northridge because my little sister goes to college and she needed a ride. So I stayed out there for her and I did a little thrift shopping.
Period. Did you find some stuff?
I did. I found some really good pants. I found like 2 really solid pants. The other pants that I got was like kind of not solid, but I could still do something with them. And I found some like basics because I love me some basic shirts. So I found a couple of basics and the pants are like.
You know, I was watching all of our episodes and you always have a black shirt on.
I know.
I noticed. I'm like, she got a little uniform.
And that's what, you know what? That's another thing. I used to like watch YouTube videos of like successful people and stuff. And I felt like all of them say that like, okay, when you have a simple closet and just what you like to wear and like, that's when you have like the most, you don't have to really think of it and you just could just put on your clothes and go out the door. It's like,
it's more efficient. It's more cleaner.
Yeah,
like,
and I feel like it's more like, I don't have to overthink, or I don't have to be like, dang, am I gonna like what this looks like, or stuff like that. So I'm like, that's what I bought too for the thrift shop, 2 basic black tees.
I know that's right. I bet they go last forever too.
Oh, for real?
If you invest in your basics, it can never go wrong, and then you just elevate from there.
Exactly. So I want to eventually probably go to that, like completely like,
minimalistic.
Okay, I got like some good quality pants, some good quality basics, and
not too much.
As long as my hair done and I look cute somewhat. Like, I feel like the outfit is don't really. I feel like outfits are good. Like if you want to express yourself that way, but for me, it's like more like I'm just kind of like.
You don't need your clothes to express like like you. You can express yourself.
Exactly.
And I feel like sometimes when you dress like plainly, not like cheap or anything, but like just clean, it allows like your work or other things to speak for you. Because sometimes we have like an image like. With me, I'm into the early 2000s. I feel like people could tell the time period I'm into, the way I dress. But when you're dressed clean, people kind of, it's like having a poker face. You kind of get a feel for, it just uncomplicates things.
That's the thing. And I feel like that's where I have like the most, I guess you could say, not really insecurities, but I'm really like, I don't know, certain things don't fit me well. I'm like, I'm shapely at the top and a lot of shirts don't fit right. So I'm like, okay, if this looks basic and I could just like, have that clean, sharp, straight, whatever look and not have to worry about, oh, does this shirt look too revealing? Do this look, not right? Cause, I don't know. It's just more of like, I'm trying to feel what I'm most comfortable with. Yeah.
I feel it.
So
moving into comfort with our clothes, but moving into comfort with our clothes and moving out of comfort with our life.
Yeah.
Yes. But
exactly.
Speaking of other things that are uncomfortable, we're going to talk about marriage today.
We definitely
We're going to talk about other people's business and our business,
Exactly.
Just a little bit.
In the streets, as y'all know, Miss Will and Miss
Will. That's how it be seeming sometimes, We don't give Mrs. Will a break, but you want to start with Mr. Jada? They say even the kids are switched up.
True.
So.
Oh my gosh.
You're on a spectrum, y'all.
Yeah.
Masculinity, femininity, it's on a spectrum.
Let's start with Mr. Will.
Mr. Will Smith.
Yes. Okay, so we have this idea of Will Smith, especially from growing up. Like, we watched him on Fresh Prince. We seen him develop this family, and this was the ideal black couple. Like, I feel like us growing up, it's like, okay, that's what marriage should look like. That's what marriage should be like. They had 2 successful kids who grew up and became, like, musicians, actresses, actors.
They basically like the face of black love.
Yeah, so we were kind of, we grew up on it and we seen this growing into what it is now. It was rumors and speculations back in the day. I didn't forget them about them having an open marriage and things like that. But throughout the years, it was still just like they never confirmed or denied. So it was just, you know, they're just
this for speculation.
Face of black marriage. And Jada, I feel like low-key before Red Table Talk, that it was like, you know, they were like the ideal couple. But once they started doing all of these, like the podcast, Red Table Talk, and getting more deep into what they go through in their relationship, it's like we start kind of like...
So do you feel like the oversharing is what really like put a strain on a relationship? Because if y'all don't know what we talk about, Jada came out this week and said they basically been split up for like the last 7 years.
Yeah.
So everybody was shocked, to say the least.
Exactly. Because 7 years ago, or six, 7, what was that?
I was 8.
Girl, you was not.
I'm just kidding. Anyways,
that was like 2015 is what I was getting at, the year. But if you think about it, how long ago that was, I think her talk show wasn't even out. Like her, so it's like, okay, you're saying y'all split up for this long. We seen y'all, and y'all talked about marriage. Y'all talked about your relationship before that, but
technically they are still married.
Yeah.
Like, they're married, they're just separated, living different lives.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're still operating as, like, business partners and parents.
Yeah.
And friends, but just not as husband and wife.
Do you think that they... Because I feel like I want to go back and rewatch some of these Red Table Talks, because I feel like when she had him on the show... They
was probably spilling tea and it was going over our head.
Yeah, that, and I feel like they were... projecting that they were like, oh yeah, we're working on, you know, because remember that whole thing with August Alsina and that situation, and then they made it seem like, oh, okay, she was out cheating or whatever, but Will was okay with it in a way, and that's still like a fog. I feel like they never got to the bottom of that.
I feel like they kind of did get to the bottom of it, in my opinion. I feel like they had not even an open relationship. They had an understanding that they are living separately. They said that they had an entanglement, that August said he spoke to Will about it.
Yeah.
And that she messed up with the entanglement. He claimed that he didn't know.
Yeah. Who, Will?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But I believe, just based off the interviews I've seen of Will Smith, him talking about he did not want to divorce his first wife.
Yes.
He always says he doesn't believe in divorce. I feel like Jada has put herself on the line and has sacrificed herself for his image. I feel like Will has always wanted the American dream. I feel like he wanted the 2 kids, the wife, the perfect life. Like, he had it.
Yeah.
Like, before she started telling their business, for all we know, they had the perfect life. And I feel like she was willing to put what she really wanted on a back burner to protect his image. And once they start talking on the Red Table Talk, I think she kind of like started realizing, once you say things out loud and people hold you to it, and now people are judging you, saying you're a bad partner, you're a bad wife, you're a bad woman. Now you maybe feel like, dang, is it worth all this, me defending myself?
Yeah.
Or me not even defending myself to keep his image? I feel like Will knew about it the whole time.
Yeah.
I feel like Jada was living her life. She want to be with her little thugnificent. Yeah. Like, she trying to reclaim Tupac. Tupac is gone, girl.
For real. She's
gone.
Bring him back.
Yeah, she's trying to bring his ghost back. What they call her, Jada Pickett Shakur.
Yeah, did you see all the photos, the Photoshop of her in the car?
Yeah, the night. Yeah, girl, you should have been there.
Yeah.
You really saved your man. But anyways, I feel like Will has been not even forcing Jada to go along with it, but he's been fronting. And I feel like people need to give him some side eyes, because everybody looking at her crazy for telling her truth because she's the one speaking. But it's always power of silence. True, and I feel like he's practicing his power by being silent. But how do we know he's not the one? How do we know he wasn't cheating on her for years and she finally was like, I'm not going to divorce you, but you're going to let me live my life? Like, what if that was the case?
Hey, we don't know.
Will Smith is a master manipulator.
He could
That's what
be.
It's giving.
Yeah, he could be.
That's what it's giving, because they're talking about writing a joint book.
Oh, geez.
After this. I feel like he wrote his book, she writing her book, and then they're going to come together and write a book. Yeah. I feel like... We're going to take it. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. Like, to y'all, like, does a partnership, or to you, does a marriage, is it only about romantic love? Because a lot of people say marriage is based off of business. Like, what takes precedent in a marriage to you? Romance, business and understanding, friendship? Because they seem like they have understanding.
I think friendship and romance is, for me, is like what I prioritize in my marriage more than like,
okay, so why legally get married then?
Hey, I feel like for different strokes for different folks. So yeah, for me, it's like, I'm an open person of like, if you choose not to, it's not a big deal. If you choose to, it's not a big deal. But it is paperwork involved. So I feel like for whoever wants it and wants to be married, it's just like, I don't know. I guess it is a business part of it, but I feel like that's not what I prioritize for me personally. But maybe other people might, and like, okay, this is a business. We have to make sure everything is running smoothly, I guess. But I feel like for them, since they grew up in show business and they had their time as celebrities, and they have to have this type of business structure within their marriage, because it's like,
do you think so much they have to?
It. Yeah, low key.
Because I'm trying to think of what's another famous couple. Like, what about what's his name? Not Steve Jobs. What's the man who owned Amazon? Jeff Bezos. Yeah. Jeff Bezos, most influential man in the world. Owns Amazon. Make sure we have everything. He divorces his wife, cheating. What makes somebody says, I'm going to get a divorce, or I'm going to stay through this, keep images, because they have a business together too. Jeff Bezos and his wife. I'm sure they have so many business. And she took half. Yeah. So did she love him any less than Jada? Because the world, it seems like they think Jada doesn't love Will and she's embarrassing him. Yeah. So by her staying in that marriage, they still have all their assets together. They still have, up until this point, they've had their reputation. Like, does she love him any less for staying in a relationship that's not as romantic? Should she have... Do you think people would have respected her, or you would have respected her more if she would have just left? If the romantic part is not there anymore? No, because it's really none of our business in all in all. But I feel like the issue that I have with this, and not even that big of a deal, but the issue that I would see with this is how she's bringing it to the public and making it seem like, okay, everything that she's going through is just like, I don't know, it seems like she's adding to the narrative against Will. Yeah, and it's like, okay, he already got bashed from most of society, not me, about slapping Chris Rock. And I feel like, okay, everybody's bashing him and you just gonna add to the fire as his wife. Yeah. Well, wife, business partner, whatever they want to call it. Stuff like that. It's like, okay, I get that you feel like he was wrong, and I get that, you know, all this stuff is coming to life. Maybe he did do something to hurt you. But if that's the case, y'all should discuss that privately instead of just, oh, I'm going to go on the shows to talk about it. And maybe that's even their business arrangement. Maybe that's, like something that, a part of their business model. Like, yeah, let's do this so we could be back on the media, so we can promote your book, so we can make more money. You never know with these people. Like, I feel like a lot of these, like, you know, they have, like, these game plans and stuff that could take their businesses higher. Because imagine that, like, she's talking about this and people who are really interested, like, oh, let me read the books to get more insight, let me go to her page, let me see what it's definitely like, this is what's going to get people to go buy her book. Exactly. I'm thinking about when Will has slapped Chris Rock. Yeah. I remember seeing videos and we were all trying to figure out if it was fake, if it was real, like what was really going on. But I remember seeing the pause, like from Jada. She was kind of just and he kind of like looked at her as because he was laughing at first, like, as what to do. But maybe within his mind, we probably never know because we never seen that clip. Yeah. But what if within that mind he's like, oh, I got to get into my role as her husband because people are expecting me. So because she said she was shocked when he said stop messing with my wife. Yeah. Like, so maybe like it was Will. Like, I don't know.
But if you think about it, like, say if you were in this situation.
Okay.
If somebody was talking mess about you on stage,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're not feeling comfortable, he's making you feel uncomfortable. A man is making you feel uncomfortable. Like, and your husband is sitting there, what would you want? Like, say... I
would want my husband to defend me. I would want my father to defend me. I would want my brother to defend me. I would want any man in my life to come to my defense in that time. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what Will was doing. I feel like, honestly, outside of like her being his romantic partner, that's his partner for life. Like, I really truly believe when they say partners for life, they really mean it. Like, regardless of what they go through, I feel like they about to be locked in. That's why I think they're so interesting, because I feel like they showed that like partnership can evolve from being parents to being romantic partners, best friends, business partners, back to lovers, back to like, what if everything just moves in stages and they're in this stage of their life and they have faith and they believe and they want it, and maybe they're like, right now it's not working for us, but maybe in 10 years, and we want to commit ourselves to each other to be there to try this again in 10 years if that's what works. But if not, I want to be the person by your side supporting you, making sure like what we build together stays intact. Like I just think about all these like couples we see for like 15, 20 years together, like marriage, and then they get in these crazy fights like about money and about all this stuff. Like, even if you're a regular person, sometimes people just separate because they don't want to go. Like, is it any different than like grandparents who stay in relationships for like 60, 70 years and they probably don't really like each other no more? They probably don't like each other, but Uncle Jerome paid the bills. Auntie Barbara cooked the meals, so that it's just that's what they've always done, and
so they just stay in that situation. But do you think that's like a healthy way of living? Like, just for the sake of keeping a marriage and keeping it, like, if you guys really don't like each other, but you're dealing with this person because you just think that, oh, I have to save and keep this marriage?
I don't think it's healthy if you don't really like that person, but if that person's your bestie, your best friend, I think, like, I'm not completely mad at it. Like, if y'all have an understanding, because to me, it gets back into, like, what we were talking about earlier, like, what are our real expectations of marriage? And for me personally, I feel like from whoever I marry, I really want a partnership from them, and I want unconditional love. I want you to love me if I'm being a good person or not being the best person. I want you to love me if I have the best days with our kids or if I'm going through postpartum depression. Like, I want somebody who's there regardless. And even like if we can't have that romantic love, I kind of like admire how they're willing to say, okay, maybe this part of our relationship is not the strongest right now. We can focus on that later, but let's continue with these other parts. Let's get to know each other. Let's go on vacation as friends. Like, like, just, I feel like they have unconditional love for each other. And I feel like unless you find somebody who could really like replace that, I feel like that unconditional partnership is like what it is. Like, cause like I pride myself on looking good. If my husband gained 200 pounds and I still love him, we have kids together, we built a whole home together, even though looks are very important to me, I'm not going to leave him because he's 300 pounds. I'm not romantically attracted to him anymore. I'm not physically attracted, but there's other things that keep me there. Or like, I don't know, like, what do you think? Because I have another question, but I want to know what you think. Like, for me, marriage, what is it based off of?
For me, like I said before, I feel like the love and best friends, like, because if you're really not friends with your partner, and I feel like I wanted to touch on that when you mentioned Jeff Bezos and his wife. They probably did not really hang out, not like each other, was not like, oh, let's do everything together and be besties. They probably it's some people who get married and it's like, oh, this is marriage, you're just my wife. It's not saying just, but yeah, you're my wife. You're the people who marry people who are trophy wives. probably don't even get to know them fully, and it's just like, oh, it's just for an image. Some people marry just for an image. It's not really truly based on like friendship and like a partnership. It's just okay, and then they go with it. They go and live their life. They probably happy. Some people be happy about it, but I feel like for me, I prioritize friendship and like romance, and just, and not saying it's gonna be blue skies and good days all the time, but if you really care for that person, because I feel like in a marriage you're basically family, and that's just like, if you care for your family, if you care for your brother or sister, like, and you guys have bad times, that's never gonna not be your brother and sister.
Yeah.
So I feel like that is like how Will and Jada are with that portion, like the best friend. If they're really truly best friends, then it's reasoning why they are keeping it as, hey, you can see other people. I feel like I want to see other people, but I love you unconditionally. You're my best friend. We're this and we're that. And I feel like that's where it builds a strong, because friends first, to me, it's like you have to really enjoy this person's company. You have to really enjoy speaking with them, spending time with them, for it to be like, I know, a good marriage in my eyes, you know? So I feel like I prioritize that, and, you know, romance. The business part of it, I feel like since I'm so new to it, like I haven't done the business portion of it. It's just like, so that's why I'm like kind of like, that don't really matter, because I'm not really thinking about the business portion of like, okay, now we have to do our taxes together. Now we have to figure out, I don't know, what else people married do.
Do you think if you put, just can like imagine you and your husband's life 20 years from now, and say you guys completely fell out of love, like romantically, but y'all are still cool? I look at y'all as like a couple that are really like locked in as best friends. Do you think that you would go through divorce, or do you think you would do separation?
Most likely it's just separation instead of divorce, because just the way I'm thinking of it, like, you know, now it's like, I don't think it's ever, who knows though, I can't just say like it's never, because we're not
wishing that
on
her to start with, but just hypothetically speaking,
I feel like it would just be probably like let's see where it takes us in, because I'm always like, I think I said it previous episodes, I'm very open to conversations about feelings and how you really feel and what works and what doesn't, so, you know, we could be on the same page with stuff. So I feel like in 20 years, if we do ever have that conversation and it ends up a mutual agreement of just separation, or even, because, hey, if it's a mutual agreement of divorce too, that could be, you know, or I just feel like I'm very open. So I don't really have like, I can just say, it's never going to be, you know, anything, and because you never really know. How I'm even going to be in 20 years. Yeah. Because people change, things change, and who knows, but hopefully that's not an option, but hypothetically it would just be, you know, we'll see how it works in that time.
So I feel like you're very grounded in like why, like you basically don't think it's an issue that they have been separated. You kind of take issue with her kind of like publicly speaking out against Will.
That's how, totally.
Do you think that's like the general public's like, that's their beef with Jada? Because I feel like there's a lot of like, just like animosity towards Jada specifically.
Yeah. I think Jada had a lot of kind of like...
Is it the obsession with Tupac? I think that's kind of...
Yeah, low-key. I think that's where it's kind of like... Because that's annoying. If you're married to this man and you're talking about this situation that... Y'all was probably... they weren't even together for years or nothing. It was like, what was that?
He was married. He was engaged when he passed away. He had married another woman before. He had dated multiple people. Oh. Why are you so obsessed with me?
That's what it's giving, though. For real. I feel like she is just... I don't know. Maybe she's projecting of like... what she wished she had, because literally you never, and that's the thing I don't like, is when people are like, oh yeah, he was my true soulmate and this and that. Like, okay, if you were still alive today, you don't know what really happened. Like, you don't know how y'all relationship would have been. Y'all could have hated each other after a couple, so you can't just, you're having this dream or like this ideology of, oh, what your life could have been like if he was still here. But why would you do that when you have like this person who you say is like, oh, you still love and you have, but you bringing up old news? Like, that's weird. That's just like you sitting there talking to somebody about your ex. Like, yeah, if he never moved away to France, we would have still been, and you have a whole man.
Yeah.
Like, what? That's crazy.
Now I want to go back 7 years and see how she was talking about, like, did it intensify after the breakup? And she's like, nah, I can talk about this nigga. Like,
yeah, that's what it's like. What's been going on? Also, I feel like this 7 years thing,
I think it's crazy. I'm sorry.
No.
I think it's crazy that the child, what's her name? Willow, be crying over Tupac or talk about Tupac.
She be talking about him too?
Yes, she's like, my mom loves him so much. Da, 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 da. I think that's where it kind of crossed the boundary to me, because I couldn't imagine me being married to my partner with children and him talking to our children about somebody he loved from the past so much that now my child, who has not even been alive at the same time as this man, knows so much about this man. I think that would be like, that would drive me crazy.
Yeah, like imagine that. Like, and I don't know how open Will is to whatever she talk about or he even care, but that would make me so pissed off. Like, what are you doing? All you doing is embarrassing yourself and me at this point. Like, that's so weird. You keep bringing up this person who passed away over 20 years ago, and it's like, okay, like, I don't know. It's just weird.
I feel like Jada Pickett Smith is like, she's in a part of her life where she realizes that she like kind of sacrificed her life to fulfill Will's dreams. And I feel like she's kind of playing, not even get back, because I feel like at this point they have an understanding about where their relationship stands. But I feel like Jada is like a very masculine leading woman with her energy, and Will, I'm not going to call him like feminine, but he's not traditionally what we would think of as the most masculine kind of man. And I feel like Jada is romanticizing what Tupac was in her head at that time, because who knows, not only if they would have worked out, who Tupac would have become if he would have still been alive. I feel like she's romanticizing like, oh, what would have happened if I would have went down that route with this type of man? She kind of went the opposite route. And I feel like it's like when you have these executives like that make so much money and that do all this stuff and they want to be demasculated by women. I feel like Will is in that boat. And I feel like Jada was the person who was demasculating him a lot. I feel like Jada is this woman we look at like as like the ultimate 90s beauty, like Halle Berry. Like, she's like a sex icon. Like, she's the one of the most feminine Black women we think of when we think of movie stars or celebrities. They switch roles. The public image looked at him as masculine, her as super feminine. In their private lives, it's the opposite. And I feel like she has formed resentment because she can't even be the dainty lady she probably wants to be, or like she can't even live in her truth, whatever her truth is, because she's too busy trying to fulfill what Will has always wilt, like that's his book, what he really always wanted. And I feel like now she just like, fuck it, like I'm just gonna be me regardless of how he looks, regardless of how he feels. I feel like that lady know him in and out.
Yeah, definitely after
literally
all these years.
Like in and out.
I'm sure.
And yeah, like I just feel like I feel like they're gonna last the test of time. I feel like a roach after the last atomic bomb, after Israel and Gaza and all this stuff. Yeah, Will and Jada still gonna be standing.
Hey, do you think though? Okay, since she's telling all this stuff. Because I didn't hear, I don't know, maybe she did say some good stuff about him, but I haven't heard nothing good come out of her mouth about him. But he ended up saying, like, yeah, this is my best friend. I'm going to stick beside her, basically, after all this stuff was said. But I feel like, do you think that she is, like, kind of, like, pushing toward, okay, because, you know, in a divorce, don't both
and they got a media company, too.
See? But, you know, in divorce, both people have to be like the husband will have to sign off for it, right? Mm-hmm. Do you think that she's kind of like causing this scene to try to get out of it, or?
I think that could be a possibility. I think that, especially, like, I was looking at the clip of when his ex-wife came on a Red Table Talk, and she said she literally had to present him. He told her, I'm not getting, like, he went in the bathroom and cried over Jada while they were at dinner and went back to that lady and told her, I'm not divorcing you. Even though I married the wrong woman, I'm in love with this woman, to the point where you're crying in the bathroom. And he would not let this lady go. First of all, that's controlling. Yeah. We got to look at Will. I'm telling you how I got to look at Will. Also, the fact that he would have stayed in that marriage is nothing that makes me believe that Will Smith would not stay in the marriage with Jada for as long as possible. Yeah. And maybe this is like some kind of public embarrassment. But honestly, I think it's like I feel like they're 2 steps ahead of us. Mm-hmm. I feel like they're coming out with it now because they already have the next 2 years of their life plan, how the book run's going to go for 2024, how they're probably going to do something like a joint something else, like, and it's all probably going to be under their media company. Like, this is all like we're watching their marriage unfold, but at their own benefit. I think that they're pulling the strings. And I do feel like Jada is taking I can't even say most of the brunt, but kind of, because Will get booked again. Definitely. Will have that sympathy from the public, like, oh, Jada, that succubus did you wrong. She dragged you. What about Black Love? What about Will? Like, Jada's like this horrible woman, and she's doing that for Will. I feel, let me not compare her to Jesus Christ.
Oh, no!
But that far. I'm not going to compare her to that. Maybe the opposite. But
yeah, low key.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Jada is really acting as the lamb of her family and sacrificing her public image to bear the brunt. Because nobody want to talk about Will and his marital affairs. Like, he been spotted out with multiple people, men and women, and nobody wants to talk about that. Yeah. So
maybe it's because usually when we see stuff in media, it's always the man who, this man cheated on his wife, they're getting a divorce. And that's like,
they could have a whole contract.
But that's not what media, it's like, okay, we'll forget about that in a day, because it's the typical situation, a man cheating and then the wife filing for a divorce. But since I feel like, since the roles are kind of reversed, it's like we're all putting it on like Jada, and Will's the good one in the marriage and Jada's the bad one. It's like, wow, we're kind of like, women don't really act like this usually, and we want to see more. We want to get more information. We want to, like, what's going on? So it's like, maybe this is a whole business, theatrical performance that they kind of probably talked about together, and let's see how this runs, or let's do this. Because literally, for them to even go on a talk show, they're getting paid to do that. And they're getting paid to talk about this, and they know what's going to get the crowd going. So I'm sure she wasn't going on there just like, this is what I'm going through, and this is my truth, and I'm just going to, I don't care how it goes. They say certain things to get to be...
They're media trained. They know the rhetoric. They know all that. So I feel like Jada and Will... I feel like they are trying to maintain some kind of like image that Black people has projected on to them. I think Black people, we got that kind of bad. Like, the first Black president, Black love, Kanye, Black. Like, it's just like we look for these people to represent us. Yeah. When we could just literally live in the representation that we want to see. True, and we can embody that representation instead of projecting our values on other people. Because marriage, from even us describing how we want to approach marriage differently, is clearly different for different people.
Exactly.
And the Black community, like, sometimes we're a little rigid. Yeah. So, and they are worldly people. So the fact that they're able to go about marriage in this way, a lot of people were never going to be able to relate to how they go about marriage. They're rich. They're filthy rich. They're wealthy. they have seen so much, like you said, they've been famous since their 20s, since they were teenagers. Like, these people are on a whole different, like, they thinking about different stuff. Definitely. They're thinking about securing their great grandkids.
Exactly.
Billions. Millions. Though. So I just feel like they have worked up so much success and, like, rode with each other. I don't think they're ever going to really divorce. Mm-hmm. I think that Black people have kind of like, we kind of created this monster ourselves. It's just like the Kanye West effect. Yeah. Like, it's like, we thought you were this way, and now it doesn't appear that you're the way we've solidified you in our mind. So now we have to attack you mm-hmm. in hopes that you'll either go back to what we used to know, or somebody's got to go down, because now you're destroying my idea of what marriage is supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And it's like, why is that their responsibility?
Exactly. It's not. And I feel like, you know, it could date back to how we were portrayed usually in media, and we finally get a glimpse of something positive, and mm-hmm. when it turns negative, it's like, we have hopes for you, we as a Black community. And I feel like, yeah, Black people put too much hopes in these celebrities because we feel like we didn't grow up seeing this type of stuff. We didn't grow up seeing...
But did we not? Like, I just feel like a lot of people grew up seeing people separated, married couples, and still going about the whole married thing. Or even just people living common law. A lot of people don't even get married. They just live like married couples. Mm-hmm. And they just stay together. Yeah. But because we see something that we really just want for ourselves.
But if you think about it, because we may have that experience of seeing people... Because my parents were married. I've seen... You know, my grandparents were married. It's like, I've seen that in my life, but a lot of people grew up without a father in their life. A lot of Black people grew up without that connection or without seeing a family dynamic.
True.
So when we see that, it's like, we cling, not saying like us, just us, but Black people as a whole. When Black people who grew up without having that true Black family love, who don't know that, and see something like, oh, it's Will and Jada, they're Black, they look like me, they're on TV, and we can see that they're married, so wow, this is like something we don't get to see, so I'm gonna idolize them and like look up to them as, this is what I want, I love to see that type of love, and I want that for myself. But when it turns, it's like, dang, I'm disappointed, this is what I thought was marriage supposed to be like, but now y'all doing this, so I'm not gonna believe. It's like a psyche thing. People who haven't seen or went through something like that get this view of it, and it's like, if it's taken away from them, they're gonna feel some type of way, like, dang, now, like, who can I look up to in a way? But we have to stop idolizing celebrities and normal human beings, because we are all human and we all go through stuff. And if you feel like you never seen that and you get this image from them, why don't you be what you want? Like, you should set that in stone of like being the person that you will want to be in a marriage. And even if, you know, that idea that you had of what they were like, you could try that too. Use your idea of what it to be the marriage that you will want it to be, you know, instead of just being disappointed and feeling like, oh, hope is lost if a Black married couple don't have the same standards that you would think they would have.
Or should have.
Yeah.
Because you made me think about the fact that, like, you said that Black people kind of, like, we cling to them because we want that. But now I'm just thinking about them as a whole, like, even as their family.
Yeah.
Do we really, like, give people room to be different than what Black people deem as morally, like, just or morally, like, fit, or just like the norm for Black people? I low-key feel like when Black people step out of, like, whatever box that we as a society of Black people put them in, it's like, it's almost worse than if they would have never got to that point in the first place. Because I'm just thinking about they kids. Mm-hmm. They kids are like alternative Black kids, but people ate them up. People always say that they're switched. Like, Willow is really like Will, and Jaden is Jada, and that Jaden is a boy, has a more masculine. It's like they always kind of like pick apart their family, or just say that Jaden, is he gay? Is he this? Is he that? But like every time they do something, Black people do look at them like they're crazy.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, like, if we being honest, like, they are like the kooky Black family.
Yeah.
But like, is that just different? Is that necessarily wrong, or is it just different? Because they are, like, if you think about it in the bigger scheme, outside of, like, I don't agree with Jada, like, kind of like, I'm a person, we could talk about it behind doors, like, if you do something bad, but we don't have to talk about it in front of these people, especially after how they treated Will when he slapped that man. Like you said, they was already coming at his neck. You just put your knee on it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, now that I'm thinking, what if they, like you said, they can work for a certain kind of group of people? Yeah. And maybe we should just consider it as like, oh, that's another version of like successful marriage. I don't know. It could be just not elevated, but just different version. Like, definitely. Why can't they all exist in one? Like, we have the traditional black marriage, whatever that means. Exactly. Like, at this point, because like, who is traditionally Beyonce and Jay-Z? No. I don't know.
But like, if you think about it, like, I feel like
Barack and Michelle.
I guess that could be what traditional.
But with that, Barack and Michelle, do you really think? Because even thinking about Barack Obama, how you talk about Michelle, I feel like he loves Michelle, but that was very intentional. He wasn't going to marry Shaquita down the block. He knew he was going to be president. Yeah. He knew where he was going. He married somebody who was middle class, smart, educated black woman. I think he purposely didn't even marry a white woman because he knew what marrying a black woman, what that would mean to his campaign, to his future, to the people.
You think he did it that deeply?
I think so.
Maybe, though.
I think so.
But, okay.
How is that different?
I could think of it as that, but I'm like, okay, do you think that he did it to... Because if you think about it, if he married a white woman, well, maybe he wouldn't have been so... But...
He would not have won that presidency. If Barack Obama married would have came out as a biracial man already... with a white woman. We already say Kamala's not a black woman. Yeah. She Indian. She married a white man. But you think it's just
because of the black community.
We needed to see him physically.
To get him in office.
Yes. I don't think if Michelle Obama was not married to him, a black woman that you can't mistake that's a black woman. Yeah. She got him that presidency. And I think he knows that. Yeah. Challenge me on it, y'all. I want to hear, like, I really do think that.
That is I've never really thought about it, like, to that point. But I do feel like we kind of, like I said, create this idea of what a perfect marriage. And I feel like we look up to, like, how people used to be back in the day. You know, when it was like, oh, my great-grandma and great-grandpa was together for 80 years. But y'all don't know what was going on. What was going on in the background. Yeah! It could have been domestic violence. Your grandma could have just stayed because...
Your grandma couldn't even vote.
Yeah. So we're looking at these, like... I feel like that's where we get caught up of... When people get caught up in other people's relationship and ideas of, dang, they look so good together. They look perfect. This is how I want my relationship to be. I want to have this type of relationship, or I want to be married just like them. It's like you're putting these ideas out and kind of, like I said, idolizing these people when as a human being, like, we should never look at other human beings as, oh, this is like my idol. I wish I could live this life.
Do it like them.
Yeah, because you really, 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 really.
And they're all human. Like, if you think about it, who is perfect? Nobody. Who's halfway perfect? No. Beyonce? No, I'm just playing. Nobody is halfway perfect. Nobody's near perfection. Exactly. So it's just like, you can't. It's like the unknown. That's why it's like they say ignorance is bliss.
And that's,
This whole thing started when she started sharing. Mm-hmm. I think it empowered her. I think the Red Table Talk is low-key the best thing Jada could have ever did for herself.
Really?
I do. People look at that as the biggest mistake she made. But I look at that as a tool she used to slowly empower herself. Yeah. And to step out of her husband's shadow.
True, because before that...
We wasn't thinking about...
Yeah, it was just like, oh, Will and Jada. But...
And then we got to remember, before Chris Rock made that G.I. Jane joke, when she called for them to ban the Oscars, when Will Smith, she started that Oscar So Black thing. And because they didn't nominate Will Smith for that movie. But Chris Rock got on stage and was like, you wasn't invited anyway. Nobody books you for anything. So it's just like she understands how people perceive her.
Yeah.
If Chris Rock is thinking that,
most likely
we're thinking like, oh, when's the last time we seen Jada in a movie or something?
Yeah.
And to think that she was steadying her career before she married Will, not saying that he's the point of why she don't book as much stuff no more, but I can guarantee you that lady put her life on the back burner to be a mom, to be a wife, to be a partner, to be a bestie to Will Smith. And like, when is it her time?
You see, because it's like stuff that I wasn't thinking about. Yeah. But this makes a lot of sense for her to feel like, okay, not saying it was right, not saying it was wrong, but for her, she probably was feeling some type of way. She was like, you know, because before that, I felt like I knew more about, like, I was like, oh, the kids, you know, growing up making music and doing all this stuff. So, it's just like, oh, Jada and Will made. And Will, he's doing all this stuff. He was Fresh Prince. He's like, you know, America's favorite. But it was like Will and Jada. And it's like, wow, Jada, of course, she was so beautiful, blah, blah, blah. But then it was like her kids. So her kids got to shine. So it's like maybe she did feel. And that could be.
And she's.
Literally for anybody, though. I was just saying, like, maybe she felt like, okay, I literally do so much. She probably does do, like, a lot. And it's like, I feel like I'm not getting credit for what I do. I feel like I'm not able to share or be on the, like, I'm not getting booked for these things. And it's like, what can I do? And it's like, I have a good way of words, maybe. And then she's just like, okay, let me start this talk show to talk about my life, to help other people talk about their life, to, you know. And it's like, but then she started sharing a little. Too much. Where it's like, okay, that could have been kept privately because now you're making Will look crazy. And she might want to make Will look crazy. And like you said, it might be a whole publicity stunt. But I don't feel like it was the right thing to do.
And I think sometimes when you're having honest conversations, even with us having this podcast, like it's been times where I'm thinking like, damn, did I say too much? Did I disrespect not only the partner I'm with currently or in the past, people that I've dated in the past? Am I disrespecting them by telling my truth and my experience? Because everybody has a different experience. Like, we could go through the same day and you could tell your story differently. Exactly. So who's to say she's not just telling her experience? And the fact that she has shattered our idea of Black love, and not only our idea of Black love, our idea of the masculine, successful Black man. Is that what we really don't like about Jada? That she could get up and, like, with a straight face say, yeah, we've been separated. And she don't look hurt about it. She don't look sad about it. She don't look angry. She's not the angry Black woman. She's not the distressed Black woman. She not worried about it. And just like I be seeing pictures of her sitting with her legs open and people dissecting that. Imagine what it took for a woman to have been known as one of the most beautiful women in the world, one of the most talented, and also have a personality that's so headstrong and like smart. Like, she's just not a pretty face. She has stuff to say, and she took the back seat. She's been taking a back seat. So I just wonder about, like, will people ever give her like a bone, like, hey, like, kind of like some kind of grace. But I don't know. It's making me want to read her book. She did she did that.
See, we know. We caught on.
We might have to read the book and let y'all know. Come with a part 2. That'd be good.
I do, like I said, or I feel like we have been taught to look at these relationships as like what it should be, but with her speaking her truth, it is actually an eye-opener to see that all things are not just glitter and gold.
And black and white.
Yeah, it's gray areas and it's middle grounds, and it's like we have to look at her as a person before just this idea of what a wife should be, and look at her as, okay, this person has wants, this person makes mistakes, this person does this, or, you know, instead of just looking at her as like, oh, she's perfect, and when she do make a mistake, she done, you know? I feel like, and that's something we talked about.
We be discarding people so easily. We're not gonna have no more Black people left.
So I feel like we should give people grace, and even though, like, I don't agree with what she did with Will Smith, but literally Will Smith is not my husband.
Literally. So, and when he said, phone do not disturb. Leave me out of it. Like,
he said that's his best friend. He riding a dime. Basically.
I love that for them.
Yeah, so it's like what can we do? We could bash and we could talk all our mess all we want, but literally, what is that gonna do today? You think by us tweeting, using our Twitter freaking to talk, mess about Jada, oh, she should leave, or Will should leave, he could deserve better. If this man don't want to leave, he not gonna leave. He not gonna look at your tweet and be like, maybe I should. No, like, literally.
And I think this is a great way to like question and like for us to dissect what we think about masculine and femininity. I know a lot of times like people's gender gets brought up in that conversation. Yeah. But even with people who identify as like the gender they were born as, how masculinity and femininity like is presented within a marriage, you know? Yeah. And how we're projecting what we think their role should be, and how if she appears a little too stern or a little too self-assured, she's looked at as like a succubus or like somebody who's just like something just not right with Jada. Yeah, she got too much. Who is she you're married to Will Smith, the greatest man in the world. Who are you to sit there with your head up strong and your chest out? Like, who are you?
And then they're like, oh, she's trying to be manly, she's trying to do what men do, or something like,
but like, why is her being so self-assured? Being manly, being herself. Like, when is enough? Like, she done raised 2 beautiful kids that have not went crazy. Think about what it takes to raise somebody who came out like Jada Smith, somebody who got a truck feeding homeless people. I don't hear about them being on drug binges. I don't hear about them stripping down naked. I ain't seen nothing. I've seen more things about the Obama's kids. Doing coke, doing all these don't kill me. Doing all kind of things. But I don't hear nothing about the Smith kids. And just to produce something like that, kids that are selfless, rich kids who are giving back to people. I don't hear nothing about Willow. Like, I don't hear her being in this man's bed, or just being wild or whatever. But we hear about all these other kids who have married parents with marriages that's been around forever, and they cutting up left and right, and I don't know.
And just to touch on Jaden, how he's doing all this good stuff, feeding the homeless, giving free food, and doing like being an artist and being like aware of himself and stuff. And he posted that picture of him crying, and everybody roasted him. Like, and that's the thing. It's like we put all these masculine and feminine. If you're a man, you're not supposed to cry, all this stuff. And if you're a girl, you know, you could be more sensitive or whatever. But this man was showing his emotions online and raw emotions about who knows what. But everybody is like roasting
ready
you
to
and
attack.
ready to attack somebody who is like doing so much better for the world than you, most likely. But you want to, just because he's crying on a post, like, not even like he just had tears in his eyes. It wasn't like he was like,
people like, get on the internet and cry on video about saying racist things, and you guys forgive them. So who are y'all to judge freaking Jaden Smith?
Like, give people grace and real, like, and literally, like, we, like, people do that and, well, not even think about all the good he did, but laugh and bash him for crying on camera. And even if we think about it with Jada, it's like, okay, we like don't think about the good. She might have done crazy good things, and it's like, okay, when we hear her talking about her relationship, it's like she just this evil demon, and it's like, okay, you may not agree, cause I don't agree, but you may not agree, but you can't just diminish somebody's character and bash somebody who probably does more for the world than you, and does more good than just her relationship that doesn't even involve you. Like, why would you use that? I don't know.
To belittle a woman based on the relationship she has with what we ideal as the ultimate man. Exactly. We look at Will Smith as the ultimate successful man, talented, smart, funny, handsome. Everything you think about what a man should be, Will Smith has worked to orchestrate and to embody that. But because I think Jada stepped out of line of what we think a wife is supposed to be, we're not even like passive to it. We're upset. Like, people are upset. Like, how dare you? And I think people should look at the bigger picture.
Definitely.
And look at their partnership as a whole, and not just like, oh, she did this to Will on this date at this time. Look at them as a whole and see what they built. Because if if I would love that.
Yeah.
Like, if it means going up and down, if building a beautiful family, building legacy, building not only wealth, but like just so much more than just money, just building like literally legacy. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah, so
it's like, yes, she made sacrifices, he made sacrifices, but I think people, I don't know. I'm excited to see what Jada is doing next. Like,
low key, yeah, it's getting like, okay, let's.
You think they're gonna get back together in a romantic aspect?
Who knows what the future holds? Mm-hmm. But I do feel like it gave me an eye opener, because I'm kind of like, I be hating to hear stuff, and I just kind of like denounce it. I don't really care too much. Yeah, it's like, girl, okay, I don't like the way you acting. I'm just not gonna feed into it. But when you think about it as a person, and as people who make mistakes, and as like people who have different wants and needs than what your wants and needs or your idea of perfection would be, it's like, okay, how about we take a step back, use our noggins, and maybe realize that, hey, this is not our life. This is this woman's life, and she's only speaking, hopefully, her truth. But
she gotta stay in reality, because Tupac is dead.
That's the thing. That Tupac, that was crazy. Mm-hmm. But overall, hey, that's a
Diddy better watch out.
Diddy,
you better watch out, because Jada's about to come for you. Look, you stole that woman's man. You stole her truth. You stole her one chance at true happiness. Diddy, your days are numbered.
Wait, did he have something to do with Tupac?
Girl,
I know he had something to do with Biggie.
Allegedly. Diddy didn't kill Tupac, girl. Who? Diddy killed Tupac.
That's the theory.
Not the theory. The man who is getting who they said killed Tupac, he said Diddy gave him the money. That man was in court last week. I mean, he went, girl.
I'm gonna look into that.
Jada, if you're a real one, if you're really gonna ride for your man, you gonna come after Diddy.
For real, though.
You gonna come after Diddy.
Oh my God. See, I need to step my social game up, because I've been like kind of ignoring stuff because I don't be wanting to deal with it, but that's some tea.
We gonna bring back Celebrity Deathmatch and have Jada versus Diddy.
For real.
If Diddy win, he get Will. If Jada win, she get the vial of Tupac's last blood. Something.
Oh my gosh, his soul in a jar.
Yes. Sheesh. Oh my God, we should do a deep dive on Diddy, but don't kill us, Diddy.
I know, maybe not.
Oh no, man. Maybe not.
'Cause girl, that's so crazy. I'm gonna look into that.
We gotta do a deep dive. Tell us if y'all want to see a deep dive, because girl, from the videos of Justin Bieber and Usher, and now this man that killed Tupac, like
Did he been the villain?
He been a real villain. Y'all, that's the real villain in the story. We didn't did this whole story to let y'all know it's not Jada, it's Diddy.
Diddy's behind it all. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. But yeah, overall, we need to stop being in people's marriage, and if we don't like something, we could not like it. But we don't have to diminish their character or even
try it yourself, because you don't know if you like it or not.
You don't know if you like it or not. For real though, maybe that will work for you. Like, you can't just have this idea of what's perfection for you, because you never know. You might be in the same boat, and you might be wanting to spill tea about your ex. So don't, because that ain't cute. But overall, I feel like we touched on some really good topics. We could probably. I think it's coming to a little end.
Let's wrap it up. Yes.
But it's been good to talk about. A great episode. Yeah, really great episode. And good to talk about different aspects of marriage, because, we always get caught up in our own ideas of what a perfect marriage is. Because my idea, like I said, or like you said, is my idea of a perfect marriage is not the same as your idea of her. Not the same as Jada's idea of a perfect marriage. Clearly. So... be more optimistic.
And maybe next time, like, I feel like as young people, especially, we always say we navigate in our 20s.
Yeah.
So many of us want marriage, but maybe take a step back and ask, what do we as individuals, not even as a couple, what do we want out of a marriage?
Yeah.
And in 20 years, what would we have to have gotten out of a marriage to say that we were happy? Are you looking for financial stability? Are you looking for love? Are you looking for partnership? I think it's a combination of all those things, but what are your top 3 principles? Like, is it family, career? Like, what are theirs? Because there's things you're going to have to prioritize, and there's going to be judgment from other people. So you need to ask yourself before you commit to somebody for life, because marriage is supposed to be for life.
Yes.
Am I willing to stick with this person if they are not even the person I want to be attracted to no more? Am I willing to stick with them at 500 pounds? Am I willing to stick with them if they're broke? What is unconditional love to you?
Exactly.
Like, really, what is it?
Exactly. And that could be a little question. If y'all want to add y'all comments of what unconditional love means to y'all, definitely add them below.
Yes. And if y'all like this video, leave a red heart in the video. Show us some love. Give that engagement up. We always tell y'all, just like we come and support y'all and talk to y'all, we need y'all to talk back.
Period.
Build a community.
Make sure y'all are messaging, commenting, liking, what's the other one?
Subscribing, sharing with your friend, giving us
5
5-star rating.
Yes.
Spotify, YouTube. Every Monday we drop. We coming in strong at the start of the week to make sure y'all got something to listen to on the way to work.
Yeah, and think about throughout the whole week, y'all.
Yes.
Period.
So
that wraps up our episode. Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye.